In recent months, a number of key engines of the economy have gone through regulatory changes that seem to pass the message that market forces alone were not playing their ideal role, and the government flexed its muscle. But now players are saying the government must also be on its toes.
The government have a couple of roles. One is the tax collector, and two, they're a shareholder.
The question now, which we have now at hand, is where is the optimum cut-off point where an operator maximizes his profit? If it's too far away, then they must bring down the costs. If it's too close, then CCK needs to look at this.
It was about high costs of fuel, the move to ease telephony costs, as well as discouraging excessive consumption of alcoholic beverages and tobacco. But as the players deal with reduced revenues, the government is likely to feel the domino effect. The controls introduced include the Alcohol Control Act, the Tobacco Control Act, fuel pricing mechanisms, and lowering of interconnect rates. Against the back of that, the country's top taxpayers include Safaricom, East Africa Breweries, and British American Tobacco. While 2011's revenues are projected to remain between 21 to 22% of GDP, the current drought also plays in and may negatively impact the expected growth. KRA has set a target of 14.8 billion shillings for the next quarter, though it already fell short by 5 billion shillings for the second quarter of 2010. KRA Commissioner General Michael Waweru attributed this to, among others, a weaker performance in the petroleum sector due to storage capacity constraints, as well as the rise in oil prices, which reduced demand. Petroleum taxes recorded a decline of 4.9% in the 6 months, and now players say the control measures were not well thought out.
We got used to this haphazard behavior. We saw it on the new formula on the price cap that had been introduced recently. Again, shooting from the hip, we don't think it's the right way on such important aspect of the economy, which is the oil sector.
Kenal Kobil says it has had to further import some of its products via the Dar Es Salaam port through its subsidiary there, a factor that, if adopted by more players, will negatively impact earnings from the port. David Ohana, the general manager of Kenal Kobil, says, and I quote, "If the KRA have not met the target by 5 billion shillings, I would check the Tanzania Revenue Authority. They may be gaining from the ongoing challenges." Now, the controls the government has introduced over the past few months were either meant to protect or to cushion consumers. But it is now emerging that the government may as well be the biggest loser, as tax revenues from the affected sectors are said to be already on the decline. All this against a government that is already running on an annual budget of 1 trillion shillings. So what is the way forward? I am Terryanne Chebet reporting for Citizen Business.